Show is hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's showtime. It's episode 308 of the Brave Maker podcast. My name is Tony Gapperstone. I'm a writer, director, producer, actor based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I have the privilege of running and operating Brave Maker, which is a 501c3 nonprofit public arts charity. We're really dedicated to creating community with film. We really believe in education and entertainment as a means to create change in the world. So thanks for being a part of the show, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We're here every Thursday on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook, if you're still there, and all the places. And today we're talking to the filmmakers of a new movie called The Lemurian Candidate. And we're going to spotlight them for our Halloween party, which is happening this Saturday, October 25th in Redwood City, California, 2025. I'm going to invite Casey Cooper Johnson, writer, director, producer, Uni Rav, and DP extraordinaire, Visual Narrative Films, which we're very grateful to partner with, one of the sponsors of our Halloween party. Welcome, you guys.
Hey, great to be here.
Where are we coming at you from? I know, Uni, maybe you in LA, or where are you right now?
I'm in Campbell, San Jose.
Oh, you are? Okay, wait, what about American Film Market?
That's next month.
Oh my gosh, for some reason I was thinking it was literally this, like you were there today. Okay, my calendar is all mixed up.
Yeah, Casey and myself, we both will be there, and our team from VNF will be there. Yep.
Right on. Well, Uni, why don't you introduce yourself, and then Casey will have you introduce yourself, and we'll talk about the film, this crazy psychedelic trippy comedy you guys have made.
Sure. My name is Uni. I'm DP and executive producer and founder of Visual Narrative Films. Been in the industry for about 12, 13 years. We produce, we make films, indie features primarily, and a lot of shorts and also commercials in the Bay Area, also in LA, and commercials, pretty much everywhere. We also do international productions. We at the moment we're doing a production in Indonesia, getting prepped for second schedule.
Getting prepped for second schedule. What does that mean?
We shot half the film and we still have to finish the rest.
Got it. Okay, got it. I have not heard that term before. I'm familiar with that as I go into production for our second schedule in November for our feature. Well, good. Uni, it's been great knowing you over the past couple of years. I love that we're partnering together more. You are a very special person and very talented person. So glad to have this connection with you. Casey, let's hear from you, writer, director of The Lemurian Candidate, but so much more. Tell us about yourself.
The Lemurian Candidate is a psychedelic comedy that we shot up in Mount Shasta, California, on a pretty ultra low budget. We shot it in the summer of 2023, and about a week before shooting, the SAG strike happened, and somehow we scrambled to convince them that we deserved the waiver, which was amazing, and we got a waiver to shoot a very scrappy, small, independent film. You guys both know good and well how those go, but we'll talk more about it. About me, I'm a co-founder of Crossing Bridges Films, together with my wife, Antonetta Castrati, and she and I take turns writing and directing and producing for each other. So our first feature film, Zana, she wrote and directed and I produced, and that movie we shot it in Kosovo, 2019. It was world premiered at TIFF and was Kosovo's Oscar submission. And this was our second feature. I wrote and directed, and she produced and edited the movie. So, and next up, we're getting ready to go in 2026 to shoot her second feature back over in Kosovo again.
Congrats on that. Again, making films, we say here so much, it's a feat to actually complete a film, let alone a feature film. Really, you should be so proud of this, and then to be out having theatrical screenings. I know you all did one in Oakland, the Grand Lake Theater, and this Saturday, October 25th at 10:30 p.m. at the Redwood City Cinemark Century 20. You'll be doing this again. Let's talk a little bit about the film. and some of the elements of, you know, the trippiness. And some people I have heard really enjoy it with a gummy. And I think you also pass out gummies. Is that true to some of the screenings? Tell us more about this.
Well, because this movie is a psychedelic comedy, and to some extent a stoner comedy, we've been working on different ways to sort of bring audience to a cinema. So part of that has been putting together this West Coast tour. We actually have 11 cities, up California, Southern Oregon, Eastern Nevada on our tour. And as part of the tour, we're putting together sort of immersive events, alien abduction photo booths, sometimes themed cocktails or green popcorn, different places. But also we've been partnering with a couple of really cool brands. One is Sonder. They make THC space crystals, which is basically like pop rocks with THC, and they put together a Lemurian limeade packet of space crystals. So we've been giving that out to our audiences wherever we're allowed to, which has been fun. It's the movie that's sort of, as we say, best watched with a bud. And then we've also partnered with Mount Shasta Brewing Company for a lot of our events. They're based up in Weed, and they have a beer called the Lemurian Lager. So we've been, pouring their beer wherever we can, and promoting each other's fun, connected wares.
So there's a lot to talk about in regards to creating partnerships with other companies and creators for collaborations, and I want to get there.
Yeah.
Before we do that, real quick, for those who don't know the alien, Lemurian, all that kind of stuff, can you kind of talk about that lore a little bit? And you kind of dabble in that in the film, but for people who don't know what that is, tell us what that means.
So Mount Shasta has a long history of sort of spiritual, supernatural, and I'd say cryptozoological phenomenon. My dad's side of my family has been living and based up in Mount Shasta since the 80s. And though I didn't grow up there, I spent my summers and holidays visiting. And from a very early age, I started hearing about the myth of it. Started as an 8-year-old, camping on the mountain, and an old timer coming to our campfire and telling me that underneath the mountain there lives a race of ancient beings. Some say that they come from the Pleiades star system. They used to have a civilization above ground around the same time as the mythical continent of Atlantis. There was the continent of Mu, or where Lemuria. And we go into some of that backstory in the movie, but when those two continents reportedly sank into the ocean, the surviving Lemurians moved to Mount Shasta and built a giant underground city of gold. They have special powers, and many people are connected to Mount Shasta and come to Mount Shasta to search for the portals down into the lost city of Telos and to make contact with the Lemurians. So it's been a story, a mythology that's very strong in our local culture there in Mount Shasta, and it was a great and exciting backdrop to set it. Essentially a buddy comedy about 3 friends who are, sort of were tight in college, but now they're sort of separated, and they're, coming back together for a backpacking trip to kind of help one of their buddies heal a bit. And, the movie is really a comedy and, in some ways a drama about this friendship and these guys trying to help each other out. But, the plot line of one of them thinking that they're there to make contact with the Lemurians makes it all the more fun to watch.
So if you're listening, watching live, or on the replay, we're talking with the team behind the Lemurian Candidate, which is a new trippy buddy psychedelic comedy that is screening October 25th in Redwood City, California at 10:30 p.m. right after, coincidentally and ironically and conveniently, the Brave Maker Halloween party. We encourage you to go check out the film and get your tickets. You can go to the lemuriancandidate.com for more information. Now, speaking of these collaborations, you and Uni have connected and you made this film together, and I've been able to see a lot of Uni's films. Everything that Uni shoots is quite beautiful, so that is a bonus to have a cool concept for a movie with all this mystery and lore and alien stuff, but actually look good too. So Uni, talk about your role in the film and how you all came to work together, and then we'll talk more about the collaboration of actually producing these indie films as you do.
A few years back, we did a documentary with Brave New Films, the LA-based company, and that's how I met Casey. Casey, you can talk more about that, and since then we've been in touch. And for Lemurian specifically, I did the drone work specifically for the Lemurian, and also co-produced, with VNF on this specific film. So it was a great fun. Again, there were a lot of things happening on our end. I think that's if I'm right, I think that's the schedule that I was in Indonesia shooting the first schedule. When they were shooting Lemurian, I was able to be there on set for a few days. I also did a bit of camera, second unit camera work also for that. But overall, it was a great fun hanging out. Great team, loved it. Looking forward to more stuff to do.
So the production and we'll talk about the producing it together and making a film. I know, Uni, from some of the films you're currently doing right now, I don't know if you want to talk about just the business model of making these, low budget indie features and how you make them happen. I'm sure with these partnerships and these product placements, there are some funds and revenue coming in that way. But for those who are filmmakers who are trying to make their feature films, what are some things that you're learning about how you do these movies?
To Casey or me, I can go
whoever.
Actually, quite in detail. Yeah, Casey, where did you start? Yeah.
I think first off, as Uni said, we had worked on a documentary together, but I knew that he was making these low budget indie films over the past years. And so when I decided to make the Lemurian Candidate, Uni was one of the first people I called and said, hey, we want to partner with Visual Narrative Films. Here's what we're looking to do. The movie is going to be sort of very scrappy and made with whatever small funds we can put together. And Uni quickly came in as a co-production with some of the real essential elements, which was that he was able to bring up and provide all of the film lighting, grip equipment, camera, which is so key, for a small shoot. And then, as he said, he also did B unit director of photography, did all these amazing drone shots that give the movie so much scope, and now we're working together with Visual Narrative Films on the distribution, and we'll talk more about that, but it's another area where I've learned a lot from Uni about the really important element of it's not just about getting to make your film, it's about how you reach an audience. And that's been a really steep learning curve, but an exciting adventure, for us, now having made 2 movies, but, realizing that we're not only filmmakers, we're distributors and we're marketers as well.
You must, yeah, you have to be. If you're going to be a filmmaker, you have to know how to do all these things. And it's fine if people just want to make films and put them on YouTube. And I do a lot of that too. But if you want to figure out how to make more films and make some money somehow along the way, it is a marathon. So what are some of those things, Uni, that you are learning in the distribution space? I also know you're doing DCPs and things. Give us some high bullet point things of things that are coming to mind as you're making these connections. And if you can talk about the partnerships with like the Mount Shasta Brewing Company and other things and how that works out.
So the partnership side, I would definitely give it to Casey to talk about it. But for me, I can definitely talk about the films that we've done in the past. We have 3 films in the slate 2025. One is in post-production. We've already got couple of leads for distributing the Boundaries film, which we shot this year. Early this year, we finished the film. It's now in post-production. So the whole process is kind of interesting. It's not easy. It's not there's no downtime on any of these. We're just knocking on doors and pretty much every possible door, but it has to be strategically done. When we looked into Boundaries, for example, there was a specific target audience we're looking at, and VNF, we've been successful, kind of lucky and successful in the international market space, and we've been able to distribute films in the international market space, and that's where the money comes in to do more of these films. Lemurian is very similar. We're definitely targeting. From Visual Narrative Films side, we're definitely taking it into the international space, targeting out specific territories that will receive this film in a pretty successful way. Is what we're looking at. We're definitely hitting the AFM. Other than AFM, there are certain distributors that I work with in the international space where we have already sent it out to them, and they have to review it, and then they get back to us. And they find some sort of a dubbing rights for it, and then move forward with it. That's usually how the process works for us.
Those are some. Go ahead, Casey.
Add from our side, I've been learning so much from Uni about this world of getting your film out on an international scope. In terms of the domestic, in terms of getting the movie seen here in the U.S., we're making reach outs for U.S. distributors, but we're kind of not waiting for that, that to happen. I think a lot of independent filmmakers either don't get U.S. distribution deals, because their movie doesn't have, big enough cast. I think a lot of filmmakers are getting distribution deals that are not good for them. They're just getting a distributor that kind of throws their film up on iTunes and Amazon and Google Play, and then the filmmaker loses all the rights to their film, but also never sees any revenue, and no one sees the movie. Not many distributors are putting a whole lot of marketing energy into films. Not many distributors are putting any energy into getting a film seen theatrically. So for us, we're kind of taking the distribution, the U.S. distribution, into our own hands, and that's largely built on one, just like we're reaching out to cinemas here in California and Oregon ourselves, and starting locally. The first cinema that we did a big LA outdoor premiere that was kind of like almost like an alien rave party around the movie. And that we put a lot of energy into that, but we didn't screen it at an LA cinema. We opened it up in Mount Shasta Cinema where the movie was shot. And that's been really successful to start locally. Wherever you shoot your movie or where you're based, that's where you have the most connection to the community.
Yeah.
That movie, the movie's going into its 6th week tomorrow in Mount Shasta. It's playing really well there. And then we're trying to use that to expand into more areas, because the movie is has a lot of psychedelics, a lot of mountains and nature and UFO kind of stuff. We're looking all around like Humboldt County, Southern Oregon, and then on the partnership side, I think our partnerships with Sonder, the cannabis company, and Mount Shasta Brewing Company, and we've partnered with Kilo Snowboards to do a couple snowboard giveaways at cinemas. It's similar to our partnership with Visual Narrative Films, and now with you guys, in that everyone has their own networks of folks, and so now, like with the Lemurian Lager and Mount Shasta Brewing Company, those guys have a strong following up in Mount Shasta region. They're sharing information about the film with their folks. Meanwhile, everywhere we go, we're talking up, Lemurian Lager and their brewery, and helping them expand their beer into new parts of the West Coast, sort of along our tour. So it's kind of like, we're finding partners that where there's mutual benefit in connecting each other's networks, because that's really sort of our war for attention in this age is so much about online networking. It's all so much. It's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's finding ways to sort of connect to different groups, their email lists, and that's a way that we're able to start to get the word out without a considerable marketing budget. As the big movies have $50, $100 million marketing budgets. We're working with a few thousand and trying to maximize good connections where there's a mutually beneficial, a shared interest. So folks that are interested in snowboarding and beer and weed, that's our audience.
That's your audience. Yeah. It's really smart, and just makes me think too, all you filmmakers out there, social media is such an easy way to do it. It does take time and energy, and yes, you can put money into it and boost your posts, but there's literally the word collab, like making a collaboration with somebody else on a reel. So though both of your reels, or both, that reel goes into both feeds of the people you're collabing with. It really is social media is set up to do this kind of stuff, this guerrilla, boots on the ground, kind of scrappy marketing that doesn't cost us any money. So if you're watching this or listening to this on the replay and you're a filmmaker, who can you reach out to who's in the same space to broaden your audience? And I love that word, that compound word, that those two words, mutually beneficial, to make it mutually beneficial so that it's a win-win. So even one of the reasons why I started this podcast, I wanted to meet people filmmaking. I wanted to hear their stories. I wanted to learn from them by interviewing them, by talking to them. And then we can take these clips and put them on our social media. And then, of course, just like you all did, then you're resharing them on your social media, and we're getting connections. And then people are reaching out to us saying, oh, I saw you had Casey and Uni on your podcast. Can I, it's really a strategic thing that looks very casual, but there's a lot of thought behind it. So, Uni, do you want to add anything just on the thought behind the making of the films and things as a filmmaker other people should consider as you've got all these films on your slate and in different phases of production?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one reason I started actually Visionary Films is not just to make movies, but also to get the movies to screen and to be seen, and also to monetize that. If we can, it's not if, we should be able to monetize this, and that's where VNF stands separate to a lot of other collaborations that I do with other companies and stuff like that. We are definitely trying to make the film and take it to screen and also monetize this. That's such a key aspect, because in this day and age, everybody is able to make a movie. Making the movie is not the problem here. The problem is, where can I take the movie out, and how can I collaborate with other people, and how can I get this movie seen, and how can we make the at least make the revenue back of what your capital back, And again, I definitely call myself like a hybrid. I'm kind of creative, but I also have a business mind to this process, and I think you need to have that process. It's important, and I think I'm lucky to have that process built in.
Yeah, Uni, I'm definitely impressed. And over the past couple of years, as I've seen different Brave Maker people come into the fold and you're working together, you can go find out more information about visual narrative films on their website or Instagram, films.vnf. And we're glad to partner with them for our Halloween party. And I'm also, my mind is kind of turning like, okay, these other films I'm working on and thinking toward for 2026. I'm like, all right, I got to sit down with Uni and talk more about these strategies, because all these feature films that you have are at a certain budget level. And I want to talk about this real quick before we close up. Both, visual narrative films and what you're doing, Casey, with your company, they're not, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're not celebrities at the A-list level, which often people say, oh, you need to have a name talent in your film. Talk about what that strategy looks like for you, because so many filmmakers don't make things or feel deflated because they hear that, like, well, I can't afford so-and-so person, so why not make things with other gifted actors who might not be at that level yet? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I got very, very strong feelings about casting, but with Crossing Bridges Films, our we hope someday to be working with A-list actors, because I know it helps get your movie financed and seen. But for now, we're not in a budget level where we can go after A-list actors, and that we inevitably would be wasting a lot of time chasing them. I think the most important thing really for us is to have excellent actors. And casting, in pre-production, casting is 90% of our focus. For this film, I knew we had a micro budget, and it was going to be a really gritty, hard film to make. But we put everything we had into casting those three leads, and finding Dakota Shapiro, Oliver Cooper, and Ben Groh was really like a 5-month process about finding the three guys who will be carrying the whole film on their shoulders, and they have so much, as one colleague of mine said, they have to be kind of nuclear in terms of their gravity, their charisma, the way that they capture the screen and pull the audience in. And if you don't find incredible actors and have them in your movie, then all of that energy you're putting into raising, money from your family, friends, colleagues, all the energy you're putting into pulling favors and sweating and spending years making your film will be kind of for nothing, because the audience still expects to watch amazing movies. They're not, the audience isn't interested in watching a movie and you're explaining to them, hey, I only had a couple $100,000 to make this. So, the audience still wants, something that is at a level of the kind of things that we're watching on our day-to-day basis. So I think, that's my kind of spiel about cast. You don't need A-list actors. You just need amazing actors. And there are so many amazing actors that are not, demanding millions of dollars for a fee.
Yeah, that's great. If you want to see these great actors, Saturday, October 25th at 10:30 p.m., the link is in the chat. You can also go to bravemaker.com or their website, the lemuriancandidate.com, and you can find a screening. If not in the Bay Area, there's screenings all around the Pacific Southwest here, and we are very grateful to connect with you guys and partner, and hope that this film continues to get some traction. The actors are really great. I'm noticing, by the way, as I'm watching, one of the actors I have his same frosted tips. I don't know what's going on. I did this for a role a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like the guy. You guys, I love what you're doing. I'm inspired. Sometimes it's really discouraging in the independent film world because it seems like so hard, and it is. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It really takes a lot of grit and perseverance and strategy. So as we wrap up, and you guys are coming, in the end of the year, what are some of the things that you're, the hopes for the film and what this does next? And we always talk about making films that hopefully get us credibility and get us up the ladder. You got some other stuff in the works. You talk about that as a final way as we close out here, just the making of the film and what that means for you next.
Yeah, I'll just briefly, for me, I really want the Lemurian Candidate to connect with an audience and find its audience. I think, it's not so much about my sort of ambitions, but it's about, finding people who are going to get something from this movie. And, the film has a whole lot of fun, wackiness, psychedelic scenes, and then it's got a lot of heart. It's about, connecting with your old friends as you're trying to sort of grow into adulthood. And then, in terms of a sort of a film enterprise, like Uni said, we want to make the money back that we put into it. We want to make our investors that believe in this film, we want to make them whole, and we want to prove that making independent film can be a viable business. And so, this really is also sort of a learning ground for us to start to get our head around how to do that on a small independent level. When David Ellison now owns Paramount and is about to eat up Warner Brothers, as a filmmaker, I'm not feeling great about the state of like the Hollywood studio system. And it's really up to us small independent filmmakers to start to carve a new path for finding audiences and a new sort of world of film distribution, much in the way that musicians, and bands and music artists were figuring that out, a decade ago.
Awesome. Uni, final thoughts from you.
We have a couple more films coming up. So we have Code Debt, which we are working towards with Buffalo 8. And then we have Victoria 18, which is a American African, film that we're working on. Is in development stage. We have secured, funding for that because it's coming from one distributor / producer based out of Dubai. Just yesterday, we had this conversation with Apple TV for creating content, a pitch for creating immersive content. So it's all in the works. Again, as I said, it's like starting a startup company. There's a lot of conversations that go through, and as Tony, you said, being persistent about it and being adamant that we want to get going and making it happen is so key. And being positive, keeping that positive energy running is such a key aspect of it. One thing I would also tell all my friends who are in this field is to think a little bit on the business side too, and it's just not the creative side, because we all love to be on the creative side. We're all creative. We all definitely want to be creative. We all are creative, and we will excel being creative. But having that business side is such a key aspect to it. Sometimes I hear people like, I don't want to know about the business side. It's like, that's just such a put off. It's good to have that business, just that little bit of, it'll always helps us, feel good about taking it to the next level.
It's called show business for a reason. Yeah. Yeah. We should do a whole workshop on business of filmmaking. Do you have a couple minutes to do a quick lightning round as we close here? All right. I want to know your favorite thing of the week. It could be anything. What's your favorite thing of the week?
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
Okay, I'll start. My favorite thing of the week is a show that is on HBO. It's called Task. It stars Mark Ruffalo and Tom Pelphrey. It is so good. If you like murder, mystery, true crime, it's not true crime necessarily, but it's got a little bit of organized crime and kind of like The Mayor of Easttown. The same creator did that. I highly recommend you check out Task. I absolutely love it. Drama, family, all sorts of interesting things going on in there. What about you, Casey? What's your favorite thing of the week? It can be anything.
I got to piggyback. My favorite thing is I just finished watching Black Rabbit on Netflix. Jason Bateman and Jude Law. Also kind of a gritty, crime drama set around a New York City restaurant owned by two brothers, and just ate that up. Loved it. I'm a huge fan of what Jason Bateman's making on television these days.
That's great. Yeah, I loved Ozark. That's going to be on my queue as well. All right, Uni, what about you?
Well, mine is nothing to do with film technically, but it is our pre-production meeting for the next schedule. These are just the crazy 3:30 morning calls that we have with Indonesia, which is ridiculous. It goes up to about 2.5 hours, and I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get on those calls, and I'm looking forward to those.
Pre-production for the win. All right. Well, thank you guys. Good luck with all the films. And I think I'll see some of you guys on Saturday night for the 10:30 p.m. showing in Redwood City. Everybody else, thank you so much for listening and watching on the replay. I would encourage you, connect with these guys, find them online, make movies, make friends, make moves. That's what we want to be about here at Brave Maker. If we can help you out in any way, please find us at bravemaker.com or on all the socials at bravemaker.org. Now, please don't forget, Brave Maker is a registered 501c3 nonprofit. We have 75 people every single month who donate, and they get tax write-offs for it. If you believe in the power of the arts and you want to fund our film festival every single year, we bring in independent artists from all over the world, and we have over 100 films over the course of 4 days. And in 2026, it will be 5 days. We are doing a whole bunch of new things in 2026. We're very, very excited about it, but the arts need your support. So go to bravemaker.com/donate to become a donor today, or just text the word Bravemaker, one word, to 44321 and get that right off. Thanks again to our guests, Uni and Casey, and go watch the Lemurian Candidate. Go support indie film. Go support indie filmmakers. And if you've got a dream, if you've got a film in your heart, in your mind, what are you waiting for? Get it out there. Make it happen. All right, we'll see you. Actually, I'm doing a podcast with an actor, Marcos James, in just a few minutes. It's a double duty day. We'll see you next time and every Thursday right here. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.